This is not a to-do list. This is not another way to fix yourself, right? This is a coming back home to yourself. Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey. This is your weekly sanctuary for waking up from autopilot and transforming the way you approach life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It is my mission to help you heal unprocessed emotions and release stuck energies by alchemizing your struggle cycles into opportunities for deep self-love, awareness, trust, and connection, to return to your innate essence of being, stepping back into your energy of alignment. Because here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light, embodying all parts that make you, you. So if you are ready to get to the root of cultivating real change, get cozy, grab your journal and maybe favorite crystals, and let's discover our power within together. Welcome back to another episode of the Naturally Empowered Living podcast. This is your host, guide, and mentor in all things emotions, energetics, and self-awakening. And this is part two, part two of our Spiritual Awakening 101 series. And something, I don't think I mentioned this last time, but I was like, spiritual awakening. I feel like that, I know I mentioned it was like such this buzzword. And I was like, oh my gosh, probably the generation before us, they called it a midlife crisis. Like it's such the same. So maybe if that terminology resonates a little bit better with you, having a midlife crisis, right? If that kind of rings the bells or kind of connects some dots to be able to listen to last week's episode 146, or, as we're listening to this episode 147, maybe that will jive with you a little bit more. Or not. I don't know. I just wanted to share that because I had like that little like ding, ding, ding. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to say that because I don't remember if I did last week. So if you haven't listened to part one yet, Spiritual Awakening 101, episode 146, I do recommend starting there. You don't have to, but we just explored the raw, real, like what signs you might be experiencing if you're in the middle of an awakening or a midlife crisis, or that sacred just waking up. Like I know that midlife crisis probably sounds a little more rigid and like it's sacred. Like it's sacred because to me, that quote unquote midlife crisis, it's you waking up to this isn't what I want anymore. Possibly this isn't what I ever wanted. And I finally don't give a shit of what other people think and I'm going to do what I want. Right? It's sacred. So last week we also talked about the challenges that can be coming, with this waking up sense of being. So today, we deepen. Today's episode, we're going to walk through 7 steps of how to reconnect with your true self. Not from a place of pressure, perfection, what I should be doing or what I think I should be doing, but a place of remembrance, a place of inner knowing. And again, if you feel that you aren't to a point to where, how do I trust myself? How do I love myself? How do I connect with myself? Possibly seeking out this work, right? Seeking out the work to be able to build that within you. Because that is your life's work, right? That knowing of, I have everything inside of me. And I'm not here saying that I don't ever like second guess myself, or that I don't have hard days, or that I don't, feel my anxiety creeping in, or I don't have my overstimulation. Like, oh my goodness, like that, we are still human. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that inner knowing of that trust. And I feel like that is, we talked about that a lot with Danny's episode 145. But if you've been with me from the beginning of this show, that was like the bread and butter of this show was self-trust, self-connection, self-love. Like that's the foundation of everything. That is our life's work. And everything stems off of that. So kind of seeing it from that light too, like when we awaken to this feeling of what I have is most important, my inner knowing, right? Those gentle soul-led nudges, or that invitation from that whisper, that realignment with that version of you that's always been there underneath the conditioning of what we thought we always needed to be. So before we dive in, if you haven't yet downloaded your free energy reset meditation, I do suggest Oh, I love that meditation. I just did it the other day. If your if your energy's been feeling heavy or unclear, overstimulated, that's like ding, ding, ding. That's my like number one trigger lately is like that overstimulation piece. I need to just take that fiber and come back to me, come back to my center. But my free energy reset meditation is available to support you. I use my root cause therapy process with how to feel and how to process and how to release those stuck emotions, those stuck stagnant energies. And it's a 10-minute guided space to breathe, to feel, to reset and come home to yourself, plus a free journal page to help you integrate what came up during that meditation. So you can grab it at naturallympoweredliving.com/energy-reset-meditation, or just go grab it, the link in the show notes. And also, I love having a physical space. It's so neat to be able to meet someone face to face. And if you are local to Blanchardville, Wisconsin, the surrounding areas, Madison, Wisconsin, I have officially opened my in-person sessions for Naturally Empowered Living, and I would love to welcome you into that container. So details and booking info are also in the show notes. I am still offering virtual sessions, and there's something sacred about virtual sessions too, because I'm able to reach such of the wider collective. There's something to speak for that too, because our energy is infinite, and there are people in this life that you are meant to meet, and everyone comes into your life for a reason. So I am just so honored to also have virtual sessions, to be able to work with people all over the world. That is truly, truly humbling. Okay, so let's take a breath. Hand to heart if it feels good. And let's continue on with our Spiritual Awakening 101 series. Let's talk about what it feels like, what it looks like to realign with your soul's essence, with who you are meant to be, with your energy of alignment, right? With your truth, what that journey can look like. This is not a to-do list. This is not another way to fix yourself, right? This is a coming back home to yourself. Now, what we defined as a spiritual awakening, or inserts, what you feel resonates with you, a self-awakening, inner knowing, coming back home to yourself. We stripped away that buzzword, right? You insert what feels good to you. It's not this beautiful, butterflies, rainbows, everything is perfect, my life is immaculate, and I'm like walking on clouds, right? You might want to feel that you're bringing heaven, like you're living this heaven on earth life, which yes, it can most definitely feel that way. But when you're in the thick of it, it feels like that dark night of the soul, like you're unraveling, you're feeling these parts of yourself that just don't make sense, but then you have this confusion and this curiosity, and there's just a lot of the unknowns, right? But it isn't always about being happy-go-lucky. And that's something I feel that gets so misconstrued. Like when you hear that term, like living heaven on earth, but then you have a bad day, or you have, this trigger or this emotion that arises, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? That's why it's like, no, it's not about that. We're not bypassing. We're merging the shadows with the light. We're bringing light to our shadows to be able to welcome and honor it all. So it's not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you are beneath the conditioning, beneath the patterns, beneath the external expectations, beneath the noise and of everything you did because you thought it was what you should be doing, but it didn't feel right, or it still doesn't feel right to you. So at its core, a spiritual awakening is a shift from autopilot to conscious awareness. A shift from autopilot, you're waking up from autopilot, you're waking up from going through the motions, and you start possibly questioning, what is life? You start possibly questioning, what am I doing? What is my purpose here? What is this human experience? You have this conscious awareness. Your perspectives might be changing. You might be curious and be seeking truths. And you might be so, opening this can of worms of religion and values. And you just have this want, this need for knowledge. And like we said last week, it's not this seamless process. It's real, it's raw. You feel like you're vulnerable, right? And that can be very scary. You might feel grief. Like you're grieving pieces of yourself, but you might also feel this liberation feeling, this feeling of like that curiosity beneath the surface to where you're like, you have this inner knowing that I'm getting somewhere. Like this feels right. This feels good. And you can always feel it at the same time. Like it can be hard, but beautiful at the same time. There can be confusion, but curiosity. You can feel this sense of vulnerability, but you also have this inner knowing that it's going to be okay. Because as you're waking up, you're shedding possible beliefs that you've just followed the bandwagon on. Or you're waking up to this career, this job role doesn't satisfy me. This isn't what I want. So when you're stirring up everything that you've kept buried for whatever reasons, from society, from upbringing, from some sort of conditioned pattern or belief that you've created, things start coming to the surface. And that's where it could feel lonely, or you might feel confused because everything you know, you possibly might start to question. And your sensitivity, maybe to your intuition or to your emotions, it's getting louder. You're creating this connection with yourself that's always been there. And you know now, your soul, your spirit, your conscious, you're ready. You're not going backwards. You're waking up to who you truly are. So let's jump in. 7 steps to reconnect with your true self. Or even 7 steps to help you while integrating this spiritual awakening. So number 1 is surrounding yourself with people who truly care for you and possibly people who can support you through your awakening. So offer your time and energy to those who truly see you and accept you and hold space for you for who you are and aren't trying to fix you, okay? Or blaming or giving you that sense or feeling of blaming or there's something wrong with you, okay? People who hold space for who you are, for you to be you. Like I said, I shared how many times I would turn to my husband and be like, gosh, I feel like a crazy person. Like, because I felt safe in communicating what I was going through with him. Okay, this could possibly be a spouse or a loved family member, trusted friends, maybe mentors, or a professional that you're working with, energy healers, therapists. Who you spend your time with matters. Number 2, I have to toot root cause therapy. I have to toot the horn here because I went through so many different modalities, not to say that they don't have their time and place, but so much of what we carry, the shame, the fear, the overthinking, the anxiety, depression, addictive, self-sabotaging patterns, they've been carried with us for years, possibly generations. And root cause therapy helps us unpack and release those old emotional trauma imprints to finally process them. Possibly from childhood, traumatic events, generational patterns, or just, any sort of experience or event in your past, anywhere within your past. So you can stop living from your past and being triggered from those past experiences and start living in your present, to creating that safety within your nervous system to process your events in the moment, to not hold on to them anymore. Number 3 is learning your type of energy alignment rituals. So when you are dysregulated, which will happen, we're not talking like we are going to be regulated 24/7. When we reach that dysregulated state, when we feel that stress response or that anxiety creeping in, everything's going to feel louder and heavier and harder in those moments. So learning these self-energy alignment rituals, energy work, really can help you come back into your body, back into safety, back into your flow. And this could be done through your own learnings, spiritual rituals, with the help of a therapist, practitioner, healer, mentor. Number 4 is other self-connection rituals. There's things to note here. It's not just, I feel like energy work can be infused into anything and everything. So that's why I wanted to have like its own little step, because energy work can be infused into your cooking, right? It's all within the intentions and the energy that we're putting into things. So number 4 is just self-connection rituals as a whole.
to help build your self-trust, your self-love, that inner connection to your guidance and wisdom. Okay? This is not, performance-based stillness. Like, oh, I have to quiet my mind and sit still for, 5 or 10 minutes. No, this is natural, instinctive, intuitive connection, allowing thoughts, feelings, sensations to come up to the surface as they're meant to. I do a body scan with my kids every single night before bed. And it looks different, every night. Sometimes I'm way tired. If you could hear my voice right now, I'm like, I have a cold. So come bedtime, like I'm ready to go to bed too. But we always do some sort of body scan. And I always say, as we start from the crown of the head all the way down, letting that energy flow out our toes, I always say, allowing any feelings or thoughts or sensations to come up and to trust that they're coming up for a reason. Okay? Allowing that intuitive connection. This can be through a body scan. I have a free body scan meditation. I'll link at the bottom in the show notes here. I believe, what is it called? Slow down to release stuck energy, I believe is what it's called. But I'll link it in the show notes here. I'm going to write that down right now, actually. So now you have 2 meditations to be able to have in your toolbox. So this could be done through meditation, journaling, dance, just movement, intuitive movement, or doing hobbies, doing things that bring you joy, true joy, because through that joy, through that love frequency, gardening, knitting, cooking, reading, walking, whatever that is, whatever things bring you joy, it's helping you connect to yourself because you have that yes energy that we were talking about. These rituals help you tune into that inner knowing, gently observe your inner world, connecting to the knowing, the trust that's within your body and the wisdom, that possibly your mind has forgotten or suppressed, right? You're connecting that mind, body, soul system. And these rituals aren't like venting or over analyzing. Of course, you make your time and space for that. Of course, like what we talk about too, like you make that time and space if Netflix and chill is part of, like a cool down type thing, right? But this isn't always about the venting or over analyzing. This is allowing you the space to get honest to what is alive within you, what is here to be processed. So you could ask yourself, what parts of me need to be seen today? Or where am I betraying myself to feel accepted? What truth am I ready to hear even if it scares me? What am I feeling right now? And then you could, where are you feeling that within your body? Number 5 is inner child work or spiritual reparenting, shadow work. It kind of all couples within that same umbrella here. But this is about learning to meet parts of you that were once shamed or silenced or forgotten, that we've shoved under the rug, suppressed, repressed, dissociated with, and offering them that compassion and that just awareness that they possibly have never received before. This isn't about fixing your past or fixing your inner child or forcing positivity over pain. It's about creating that safe space inside of yourself where every part of you, even the messy, the scared, the reactive ones, can be seen and then loved and accepted. So shadow work is a practice of bringing light to what's been hidden or suppressed, or shoved down, dissociated, detached. This isn't a space to judge, but to try to understand and to listen. It's how we begin to reclaim that power, to soften into our wholeness, okay? To soften that self-judgment and return to that wholeness. Because we're not striving to be someone else. We're simply learning how to hold ourselves, all of ourselves, with honesty, compassion, love, care, and connection. Number 6 is setting boundaries and possibly using your discernment. Okay? So this is about protecting your energy, not necessarily building walls. We can still be kind, respectful, understanding, inclusive to all, yet possibly love from afar if needed. Okay? This is when you honor your no. And saying no, you mean no, okay? You could pause before saying yes and really connect with yourself to make sure it's a full yes energy. And number 7, This is a big one here. Number 7 is surrendering, letting go, integration, learning. Probably the hardest piece because this is that unknown, right? But you don't have to force your awakening. You don't have to rush your healing. Like, we evolve throughout our entire lives. Like, you can't, I've said this how many times, you cannot heal your way out of being human. You are still living a human experience. You can't force the ebbs back to the flows back, you can't force your human experience. This is about allowing and letting be. Allowing your body, your energy, your soul to integrate what it's moving through. This is a process. And as well, like, if you're curious about something, about learnings or seeking truths, honor that curiosity. This goes back possibly to the self-care rituals. Maybe you're really curious about diving back into a religion that you grew up in and you don't practice anymore, or possibly like learning about another religion that you feel more called to do. This was a big thing for me. I grew up in a certain religion and I was scared to just learn about, Buddhism, Hinduism, because it's like, oh, well, this wasn't how I grew up. And I released that dogma. And once I stepped into that curiosity and I'm just learning, I said my prayers. I had my intention set with, a higher power, with God. Just cover me in safety and protection. Every action I am leading is through an intention of love. Protect me through this journey. And I said that prayer, and it was the most beautiful experience, because that's when I started seeing these doors opening, these parallels of all of these different religions and philosophies down to the core. There were so many similarities. So honor your curiosity here. Honor this integration, this learning, this inner knowledge. Let it flourish through the act of surrender and allowing. So let's take a moment right here. Closing your eyes if it's safe to do so. Hands on heart. Just take a nice deep belly breath. Deep into your belly. And have your exhale longer than your inhale. And simply ask, what part of myself is asking to be seen right now? Don't force an answer. Just notice any thoughts or feelings or sensations that rise. This is your permission slip, okay? This is your validation that you are not behind. You are not going backwards. Your emotions are not bad. Awakening is a cycle. It is not a one-time event, here and done and checking off, tick that checklist off. That messy middle, that dark night of the soul is the miracles that are unfolding. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. I am here. Find your support system. Your true love is not lost. It's possibly just buried a little bit under decades, possibly generations of conditioning. So as we close, allow this to be your permission slip to breathe a little deeper, to honor your pause, to embrace your curiosity, and to connect back to your self-trust and love and truth. I know we covered a lot in this 2-part little mini-series, from signs and challenges to the grounded, just like soul-aligned steps that support you in this integration during your awakening. So whether you're just waking up now, or you're possibly prior to and you're like, oh, this kind of makes sense, or maybe you're in the deep unraveling dark night of the soul, I want you to know this. You are never alone, and you're not meant to do life alone. If anything in today's episode brought clarity, stirred something inside, possibly left you with questions, I would love to hear from you. Reach out to me through my website, my email, on Instagram. I'm always here to walk alongside of you. And you don't have to have it all figured out. Gosh darn it, I don't have it all figured out. No one is perfect. We are all human. But creating a safe space to return to. That is exactly why I created the Energy Reset Meditation. It's free, it's here for you, and it's a powerful anchor when your energy feels scattered or heavy. Go grab it along with your free journal page. Grab it in the link in the show notes below. And come back to that meditation and that journal page anytime you need, because the more that you listen, the more it weaves into your energy, and the more you return to yourself, the more your life aligns with what is meant for you. Your truth is your power. Your presence, connection, and love is always enough. Until next week, my dear listeners, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. I'm sending my love and so much light.
Did you find this episode free or empowering? Please read my review. Tickle, boop.
Thank you for spending this sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. If this episode brought you closer to stepping into your energy of alignment, I'd love for you to leave a written review and share how this show has supported your journey. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps others find the space of transformation. And sharing it with someone who might need it spreads the ripple of healing even further. Be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with me and explore personalized healing sessions and mentorships to deepen your self-awakening journey. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.